What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Cassius himself, in the building with another paranormal reaction. You know what time it is. This is what we do on a daily basis. We get you going with some hot, crazy videos, scary videos that scares the hell out of you. Oh, you're back. You made it. Well, here we are. Paranormal reaction. Another video for you people out there. Let's get into it. Today, we're going to show one of the hottest videos out there today. This is the story behind Exorcism. You know what I'm saying? Well, not the Exorcism, but the Exorcist, the movie. So, you know how we had the movie The Exorcist, and it was about a girl who was possessed. She was throwing up soup across the room and all that, vomit and everything, and head spinning around backwards. Well, this is the real story. So we get down to the nitty gritty. You feel me? So, yeah, this is going to be crazy because I didn't even know half of the stuff about the movie. About the story, because the movie changed a lot of stuff around. So, when this is the real story, and it wasn't actually about a girl, it's about a boy. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so here we go. Let's check it out. The real story behind The Exorcist. Here it is. Let me get everything going. Get everything popping off. You know what I'm saying? But again, this is your boy Cassius, your host, and I'm here today with the real story behind The Exorcist. You know what I mean? So let's get it ticking and let's get watching. Yes, sir. Yeah, this is going to be some crazy stuff. All right, here we go.
Viewers and became a massive success. The film was not only commercially successful, but was critically acclaimed, achieving 10 Academy Award nominations, of which it won 2. The movie has since established itself as an icon of classic cinema. The movie portrays the demonic possession and exorcism of a young girl called Regan. As shocking as the scenes depicted in the film are, they are said to have been based on true events. The story which inspired The Exorcist centers on a 13-year-old boy who lived in a suburb of Washington, D.C. in the late 1940s. For decades, his real name has been kept hidden for privacy reasons. One of the most frequently used aliases attached to the child, however, is Roland. It is important to specify that The Exorcist took many liberties with the story of Roland, changes that went beyond a gender change. The iconic scene in which Regan's head spins all the way around, for example, is perhaps unsurprisingly not claimed to have happened in the true story. That said, there were many other sensational events which were claimed to have occurred throughout the case, which seem to suggest the supernatural. After The Exorcist was released, an army of researchers sought to uncover the truth behind the film. One of these researchers was Steve Erdman, who in 1975 wrote an article for Fate magazine titled The Truth Behind The Exorcist. In this article, he revealed alleged diary entries from a priest believed to be Father Raymond J. Bishop, an eyewitness and participant in the exorcism rite administered to Roland. According to the diary, anomalous events began on the 15th of January 1949, when a strange dripping noise was heard in Roland's grandmother's bedroom. Scratching noises also started to be heard under the floorboards of the house. On the 26th of January, an Aunt Tilly, a name associated with the family, passed away. At the time, Roland's mother is said to have believed that her death was connected to the peculiar events happening in the house. In particular, Aunt Tilly, along with her nephew Roland.
These pictures that they're showing, I wonder if these are the pictures of the actual family members of the boy. I don't know. I never actually got to see the real family members or actually the boy, but I don't know. I don't know if these are the real people or if these are just like clip arts of different people. I don't know.
Is said to have experimented with a Ouija board. After this, so the diary claims, the family started to experiment with the manifestations occurring in the house. Roland's mother once asked, "If you are Tilly, knock 3 times. It is said that waves of air immediately began hitting the family, after which they heard 3 mysterious knocks. This experiment was claimed to have been repeated more times, with the same result. The events in the house seemed to center on its youngest resident, Roland. The boy claimed to have heard what he described as squeaking shoes on his bed at night whilst trying to sleep. Claw-like scratch marks were even said to have been discovered on his mattress. On the 17th of February, still being plagued by the strange happenings, the family called a local Lutheran minister named Reverend Schultz. Impressed by the seeming genuineness of the case, he invited the boy to spend the night at his church house for observation. The minister supposedly experienced several inexplicable events, including the sound of scratching, witnessing the boy's bed vibrate, and seeing a chair tip over whilst Roland was sitting on it. By the end of the month, mysterious scratches began to appear all over the boy's body. It is even said that Roland's mother witnessed the markings form, markings which she claimed began to form words. Other events which happened prompted the family to turn to religious protective items, such as holy water and blessed candles. However, far from easing their troubles, these objects seemed to only make the situation worse. One day, the family even attempted to have Roland baptized. He is said to have responded with a furious rage, the episode escalating to such a point that Roland had to be admitted into Georgetown University Hospital for 3.5 days. It is
I need your help, and here's why. I'm on a mission to recover $10 million within the next 12 months to American patriots.
Sorry about that, guys.
It is here that it is claimed a psychiatrist attempted unsuccessfully to treat the boy. Back in January, the phenomena appeared to have occurred generally throughout the house, perhaps being connected to Aunt Tilly's passing.
Oh, there
By
she is
March,
again.
however, it was clear that the events were completely fixated on Roland. He was the center of the seemingly supernatural activity. The family decided he had to leave the house. After the psychiatrist failed to treat him, they moved Roland to where they thought he would be safer, to a relative's house in Normandy, Missouri. Yet the events continued. In fact, whilst living at this house, the family's religious fervor gained incredible momentum. 2 Catholic priests were called in, Father Raymond J. Bishop and Father Bowden. According to the diary excerpts, Bowden blessed Roland, read a special prayer by St. Francis Xavier, fixed a relic-encrusted crucifix underneath the boy's pillow, and left him to rest. Soon after, however, a loud noise was heard coming from the boy's bedroom. When the family rushed to investigate, Roland's mattress with the boy still upon it, shaking violently. It would not stop. In a fit of panic, his relatives shouted, "Aunt Tilly, stop!" Only then did the horror cease. Why it did, however, remains a mystery. Was the spirit of Aunt Tilly somehow involved in these events? At the time, both the family and members of the Catholic Church.
Okay. All right. You know what it was? All right. So I do know some information on this. So what happened is Tilly, uh, like they said, she liked to use items that involve in witchcraft. And she used to use like witch boards and she used to have seances and things like that. So with that there said, she, supposedly they was making contact with, the afterlife or whatever, demons or whatever. And one day she got the boy to do it and something came through. But they don't know if this is the real story or whatever the movie is, but they were saying that something came through and made contact with the aunt. So I don't want to give it away, but that's basically what they were saying.
Were convinced of something else, that the boy was demonically possessed. On the 16th of March, Archbishop Joseph E. Ritter gave Father Bowden permission to administer the formal rite of exorcism. On that same night, Bowden, accompanied by Father Bishop and the Jesuit scholar Walter Halloran, began reciting the ritual prayers of exorcism. The exorcism was a long and grueling process for all involved. It would take over a month, during which time the boy was frequently shuffled between his aunt's home in Missouri and the Alexian Brothers Hospital in South St. Louis. The Roman ritual was performed on the boy in much the same way that it had been on similarly afflicted people for centuries. I cast thee out, thou unclean spirit, along with the least encroachment of the wicked enemy and every phantom and diabolical legion. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, depart and vanish from this creature of God. Throughout the process, Roland is reported to have had dramatic outbursts. Supposedly, he would curse excessively, vomit, urinate, and use Latin phrases, a language of which he had no knowledge. The family became so traumatized by these events that they converted from Lutheranism to Catholicism. During the exorcism, Roland received his first Holy Communion, after which it is claimed a 6-inch portrait of the devil, with its hands held above its head, webs stretching from its hands, and horns protruding from its head, appeared scratched into the boy's calf. The exorcism supposedly climaxed on the 18th of April at the hospital in St. Louis. Prayers were said into the night until, at 11 p.m., with a new, deep and masculine voice, Roland interrupted the ritual. Satan, Satan, I am Saint Michael. I command you, Satan, and the other evil spirits to leave this body, in the name of Dominus, immediately, now, now, now. Roland had one more violent spasm before finally becoming calm. When he later awoke, he said, he is gone, telling Father Bowden that he had a vision of a flaming sword being held by Saint Michael. The archangel known for defeating Satan, it was claimed, had come into the boy's body in order to free him of the devil. Undoubtedly, the exorcism was traumatic. So traumatic, it is said, that the hospital allegedly boarded up the room in which it took place.
Oh, wow.
It must be emphasized at this point that there was never any financial incentive for the family who underwent this ordeal. Unlike other infamous cases of demonic possession, there was no book scheduled to be published at the time and no movie deal. The family did not give interviews and even kept their identity a secret. When in communication with the church, the family might have even provided a false address so as to conceal the true location of their Washington home. The family and subsequently the priests were all eager to keep this case 100% anonymous. As far as they were concerned, it was a personal struggle involving a sick child and was never meant for public consumption. If it were not for William Peter Blatty, who read a vaguely written and inaccurate article about the case dating to 1949, we might never have heard of Roland's story. Inspired by what he read, Blatty published a fictional book called The Exorcist in 1971. Based on Roland's story, it became an instant bestseller and immediately secured a movie deal. After the film was released, now many decades after the original events, nothing was heard from the family. They did not seek fame or remuneration for the film's success. Indeed, it has only been through the hard work of investigators over many years that they have supposedly been found. Some investigators claim to have located the family, who were subsequently adamant about their identities being kept a secret. According to the investigative journalist Mark Obsasnik, the man believed to be Roland was alarmed when he was discovered. He firmly stated he did not want me to ever call him back again, the journalist reported. If there was a motive for fabrication, it is highly unlikely it was financial. So were the events of 1949 real? Some have suggested that if there was any motive for falsification, it lay not in dollars, but in an allegedly troubled 13-year-old Roland. Someone who claimed to have been Roland's childhood friend described young Roland as having been mean, with a love of prank pulling and cruelty. One of Roland's favorite torments, he claimed, was to compel his bad-tempered dog to chase and scare other children. Such a mean streak can be said to have been demonstrated in the midst of his possession. According to the diary extracts, during one of the train rides Roland took with Father Bowden to visit his hometown from Missouri, he became completely maniacal and started striking the priest furiously in between the legs, yelling, "That's a nutcracker for you, isn't it?" Arguably, such an incident is more in keeping with a bad-tempered child than a case of demonic possession. Does this suggest, then, that far from being in the grip of Satan, Roland was instead in the grip of hormone-fueled, mean-streaked adolescence? An interview with Father Walter Halloran, the Jesuit scholar involved in the exorcism many years later, also revealed some suspicious details about the case. When asked whether the boy understood the Latin he was speaking, Halloran stated, "I think he mimicked us." He was also asked whether there was ever a change in the boy's voice, to which he simply responded, "Not really." When asked about the other claims regarding the demonic possession, Halloran undermines some of the details revealed in the diary source. "Well, spitting was frequent," he said, "but it wasn't significant, and there wasn't any vomiting or urinating that I recall." Other claims.
What's crazy about business credit is, one, you can get approved for hundreds of thousands of dollars at a 0% interest.
Have also been disregarded by skeptics of the case. The rattling of the bed, so synonymous with the 1973 movie, could have easily been done by Roland, as it was a spring mattress. The same could be said for any of the furniture which was claimed to have rattled or tipped underneath him. In regards to the spitting, an alleged childhood friend stated that Roland used to practice spitting and had developed quite a technique, whereby he could spit with great accuracy up to 10 feet. In many ways, there is much evidence to suggest that Roland's demonic possession was an elaborate way to trick his zealous family to get him out of school for a month. Such a prank was not beyond his personality and temperament. It might even be said that the death of a close family member in January triggered this extreme behavior as a way to manage his grief. All of this is not to say that Roland's demonic possession has been thoroughly debunked. There is, however, good reason to doubt it. As with all cases of the alleged paranormal, it is important to explore ordinary explanations alongside those of a more sensational nature. What makes this case particularly difficult to analyze is that evidence only started to be truly gathered decades after the events actually happened. Memory is not the most reliable source, and exaggeration is a two-way street. Just as some might be accused of overly sensationalizing a case, others can be said to overly downplay an event's significance. In the case of Father Halloran, whilst he did downplay the sensationality of Roland's case, he did stand by his belief that there was something sinister at work. When asked about the most terrifying part of the ordeal, he described the markings on the boy's body. "I don't think there was any way they could have been self-induced. When the evil spirit took over the child, there seemed to be nothing he could do about it." Some would even argue that Roland, being a troubled child, may have only increased the likelihood of his demonic possession being real, with such a child being the perfect host for the devil. Where is the line between a misbehaving boy and a demonically possessed one? Ultimately, there is too much mud in the water to tell. Without hearing the personal testimony of Roland himself, the rest is speculation. Whilst we do have interviews from priests involved, the diary excerpts on which the story is based can be described as problematic. Where did these pages come from? It is said that at the time of the exorcism, Father Bishop kept a detailed diary starting the 9th of March so as to provide a case study of exorcism for future generations of exorcists. Several copies of this diary were supposedly made. A copy kept by Halloran was allegedly burnt. Others, of which there may be between 4 and 8, were dispersed, with some being in private hands. Whether or not the diary extracts referenced by researchers match those from Bishop's original diary is unknown. After all, inconsistencies are common in the handling of this case, with investigators unable to agree upon even the simplest of aspects, such as the number of total pages in Bishop's original diary. With it so difficult to access a genuine copy of Bishop's writings, we cannot know for certain if the diary, or indeed diaries, which researchers reference actually describe the true events of 1949.
That's crazy.
Whilst there may not have been a financial motive for the family to fabricate events, the same cannot be said for the many investigators who published works after The Exorcist was released. In more recent times, alleged copies of Bishop's diary continue to surface. Rather conveniently, many of the people involved in the original case are no longer with us, making it impossible to test the veracity of these sources.
Oh, wow.
There is simply no way for us to know how much of these sources, if any, describes true events. Not only that, Bishop's original diary began early March, meaning much of the earlier phenomena connected with the case was not documented. Therefore, it is only through muddled sources that we can try to peek through the decades at an event that many at the time wanted to be forgotten. Indeed, it took decades for researchers to ascertain where Roland and his family lived, with some still disputing the location. No absolute conclusion is possible at the moment, and given that the distance of time only continues to increase, the full details behind the story that inspired The Exorcist may never be known.
Wow.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like more of the
They really want to keep that on the low key. They wasn't telling nobody nothing. They wasn't saying nothing about nothing, boy. It was like, we don't know nothing about nothing. We ain't telling you nothing, ain't got nothing for you. Wow. I mean, wow. Yeah, that's The Exorcist has been out since the 70s, the 80s and stuff. So, like they said, half of the people that was involved with that is dead by now. You know what I'm saying? The people that are alive ain't talking. Well, actually, you know what? There is somebody talking. There was a priest that had been doing interviews on TV talking about the story. You can see it on Travel Channel and stuff like that. But that concludes our show today. You guys have been a great audience. I love you guys. But before you go, do me a favor. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and check out that little bell on the bottom. Down somewhere in there. Anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit that little bell button so you can get notified when I put out some more crazy reaction videos. You know how your boy does it. This is Kong. It's bedtime, you know what I'm saying? We got to get out of here. We got work to do in the morning. You know I love you, man. Holla at your boy. Thank you for coming and joining this video tonight. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you was here with us. And again, this is your boy Kong. So come on down. We're going to do another one. We're going to put out like 5 videos a week. You know what I mean? Come on down and watch them. Half hour of your time to get scared and laugh your ass off whenever we do a video a day. So that's what it is, man. I'm out, man. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe. God bless. Love you. Peace.
Yeah.